Oh, Sports Interactive, you do really make it hard to love you. Today, I want to talk a little bit about the patch, and we're going to go through the patch notes later, because there is actually some bangers in the patch notes, and a little bit of the sort of release, how this all happened, the release schedule, the delays, the cancellations, whether there should have been another delay, and we'll talk a bit about the reviews. So, whew, let's just do it. So the way I want to sort of do this, because in this video, is I want to give praise where it's due, and there is some. I know some will find it hard to believe, but there is praise that we should give Football Manager or Sports Interactive, and obviously criticise them in certain aspects. Now, let's take you back to the heady days of FM25, the game that doesn't exist. If you don't know how sort of game development works, especially for these sort of yearly franchises, it's not like they finish one game and then they will go, right, that's released, let's start working on the new game. There's going to be small teams and groups of teams that are working on various different games. There's probably people working right now on features for FM28 and beyond that take longer. So it's not like they finished FM24 and said, right, now we all need to learn Unity and make FM25. They've said that they've been working on this for years before. And obviously, a criticism is that they massively underestimated the time it would take to train all their current guys that have been working on this sort of bespoke engine to then learn Unity and become proficient in that to get it, and also hire on Unity staff. And that is a mistake they made. And, you know, we had the delays, and then we had the cancellation, and then, you know, this we've moved on. Then they went quiet for 6 months, which I think is the right thing to do. But I genuinely think that Football Manager Sports Interactive deserves a ton of praise for cancelling FM25. If you look around the gaming landscape, there are a ton of companies that come out with yearly games where some of them are just absolutely rubbish, nothing has changed, or some things have changed and it's absolutely buggy, and they're like, we'll fix it down the road. Remember, we talk about these horrible billionaires and these giant corporations that run everything, and, you know, these are one, Sega and all that sort of stuff, and they have shareholders, and everything is done now to appease the shareholders, not the people that buy the games. We're just the one that makes them all their money. So the fact that they could just go, you know what, I think we just need to cancel it, is absolutely deserves praise. It sucks for us consumers, but then, God, FM26 was buggy enough. Imagine what FM25 would have looked like. Jesus, I kind of want to know. But there's lots of overlays. There's criticism and praise in regards to the sort of build up to FM25 and then on to FM26. Now, there's one thing that's pretty universal when it comes to video games in the last sort of 15 or so years, in that they will be constantly patching, and then and when you buy the game on the day of release, there'll be a giant patch. Right, everybody's experienced that. Even if you're buying the physical copies, you then go, oh, great, let me get on, it's the release day, way. And then it's like, oh, 8-hour download for a patch. Okay. Because they're like constantly doing stuff, iterating right until the deadline and beyond and stuff. But there's one thing we all know, especially if a game has been in early access or beta or alpha or whatever we want to call it nowadays, is that day one, big fatty patch, you know? And while I give praise to Sports Interactive for almost doing, at one point, daily updates with fixes and everything. That's good, that's great. The fact they missed the deadline, essentially, of having a day one patch is wild. I feel so it's not like anybody at Sports Interactive is just like, you know, chilling out, smoking a cigar, counting the cash or anything. Like, everybody there wants to make a good game or wants to sell lots of copies and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So that meeting of like, this is not going to be ready for release, so we're going to have to release essentially a beta version of the game and just take the tags off, because I've seen people saying, should they, apologise if you can hear a mower outside, I've seen people argue, should they have delayed the game another week or so, just so they could have this full patch tested, not just on the beta tracker thing on Steam, but actually released. And yes, in an ideal world, of course, yes. But, like, I don't think after all the delays and then the cancellation of the previous game, if they then delayed FM26, even by a week, I think it would have just been a nightmare. It's a no-win situation. That would have been a PR absolute nightmare. Like, it would have been so many complaints. But also, on the flip side, they have released a game that was essentially a beta version without any big, giant changes. And we've got the massive review bombing and stuff that we have now. So I want to talk about the reviews. I'm not going to go through people's reviews and stuff. You can all read it on Steam and everything. But I want to talk about why people dislike this game. And in broad facets, there's multiple groups of people that dislike this game. So there's going to be a group. Let me finish before you get all angry in the comments. There's going to be a group of people that jumped in. The UI is, brand new, and any UI is not going to be right for everyone, obviously, and it's a massive change, and things that you knew where they were, now you don't know where they are, and that immediately is a negative for everybody. It was a negative for everybody, even people that love the UI now. Initially, it's a negative for everybody while you get used to it. So there's going to be a group of people that have just jumped on and gone, this is a nightmare, no, nothing's where it should be, and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to leave a negative review, or I'm going to get a refund, right? And that's fine. First impressions matter when it comes to video games, obviously. There's a second group of people that have pushed through the wall of learning a new UI, just like you have to do with any complex game. And they've decided that now I've learned where most things are and everything, I don't like the UI. And that's a negative review, and that's obviously fine. All of these are fine. Everything's a valid reason for a negative review. That's all fine. You don't like the UI. Everybody's has their own perfect version of the UI, so it's perfectly acceptable. There's another group of people that are like, it's okay. I've learned the UI, I can get past it. Okay, the match engine's nice. Okay. Oh my god, there's so many bugs. Negative review. Perfectly acceptable, especially when you release the game with most of the bugs a lot of the bugs still in, right? So they're the sort of three main negative reviews, I think. Actually, there's one more big one, which is missing features. Stuff that was in the previous game that isn't now in this game. As people said, it's been consolified, or it's been a slimmed down version. For me, it's more, we were fighting so many fires that if we could strip away some bits, that would make it so we could actually release a game. That's my sort of feelings on it. It's like, Jim, have you not done the competition draw screens yet? Like, have you not done the cup draws? And he's like, oh no, God, we ain't go around. Obviously a very simplified version, and I don't even know if Jim works there anymore. But you know what I mean? Like, there was lots of features stripped away. I think that's so they could release a game, essentially. And I said, as long as they replace those features and don't call it a new feature for future versions, they can have it as a little tagline. Okay, I can live with that. We know international management is coming back, bigger and better, as a free update, which is a positive, well done, praise, like that, licensed and everything, love that. But I think they're the main reasons why people would negatively review the game. And obviously there's going to be a subset of people that just don't like the match engine, or they don't like very particular things or anything like that. That's fine. But so how much of those things can actually be fixed? Well, if you've got used to the UI and hate it, you're not really going to fix that, unless the reasons were like alignments, text not being used, boxes being a bit empty. That can sort of be fixed. But if you just don't like the overall flow of the game, that's it. They're never going to win you back, right? It's not going to suddenly dramatically change. But obviously, so people getting used to the UI, I think that's hard. Onboarding for a game like this is incredibly difficult. They've tried to add the search engine. That's actually amazing. I don't use it. I keep forgetting because I'm so used to the search engine previously being almost a joke search engine. I'm looking for Smith. Did you mean, Milan Baros? I don't know why Milan Baros was the first name that came to me. Okay, but you know what I mean. The search engine was terrible, so I keep forgetting that I can actually just type in responsibilities into the search engine and it comes up. Of course, that shouldn't be the way you should do everything. It should all be easily findable. But I think, and as we go through the patch notes in a little bit, we'll see that there is a couple of those tweaks. And I think they will change the flow of some of the screens, because some of the screens do take far too many clicks now. As for the people that are talking about bugs, well, they've not Football Manager, valid criticism, they've not helped themselves with the amount of bugs, obviously, but more so not having a fat day one release, because that's what people were that's what we were hoping for. That's what we expect from games. Okay, the beta's going to be a bit buggy, but normally there's a fatty day one patch, and we all rejoice and go, oh, most of my problems have been fixed, hooray! But now, it only came out, was it yesterday, as a beta thing on Steam that you have to opt into, which the vast majority of people are not going to do, and then whenever this patch comes out, I don't know, Friday, the weekend, next week, whenever they feel like it's ready. But missing that window is a pain, and is just a horrendous mistake. I dread to think the stress in the office when that was realised that they couldn't push it out in time. I know they talked about multi-platforming, and it's because the Steam and they're selling on Epic and Windows Store and your mum's eBay account or whatever. But like, other games have managed it. I'm pretty sure. Every other game I've bought always has a big day one patch on, and I'm pretty sure that's across platforms. So that feels a little bit excusey. But overall, I just feel sorry for him, and I know, just because you can criticise something or people or a group of people or a company, but also feel sorry for them. They're human beings, right? So I just feel gutted that it's just been a mistake after a mistake. Some of it has been, you don't know how hard it's going to be to develop your game on a brand new engine without just doing it, right? And it obviously took way longer than they expected, but that's what it is. But let's get into the patch now. We're going to go through in detail. We're going to whiz through it and see if there's actually any actually massive improvements. So let's have a look. So this is the public beta track on Steam. I'm sure we'll go through it. If you can just skip this bit if you've already read through it in detail. But I know, just like me, you probably don't like reading anymore. It's like, somebody tell me in audio form so I don't have to pay attention closely. So we have it. They said it's going to be done. We've been working since initial beta feedback came in, and there is some cool things in here that are talked about that look like generally actual feedback. The beta was worth it. A legacy preference to advance through messages with the spacebar. Yes, please. My brain is trained to that, so that's good. The update to 100. So quality of life improvements. 300 fixes. Key highlights including new preferences for adjusting attribute colors, a preference to turn off and on, alter the speed of the UI transitions, as well as 1.5 match speed. All because of feedback. So substantial crash and stability fixes, yay. Vague, but yay. Numerous string translation fixes, numerous text overlays and misaligned fixes. I think that's actually quite a big one. I think that when you're trying to learn the UI, or when you're trying to learn the new game and where everything is, I really think it adds to the negative when you're going, where's this thing? And stuff's not quite working properly, and there's misaligned bits and bits chopped off and stuff. So I think that will help with those people that don't like the UI, but I don't think it's going to change their minds. Numerous text overlays and misaligned fixes, numerous tile card polish, yay. Further fixes to matches freezing at the start of the second half in single player mode. Not had that, but yeah, okay. I don't think there's a mention about networky stuff, but that could be included in just these sort of main ones. Crash, but I don't think they mentioned network, which is the one I've had the biggest problems with. Added a preference to turn off and on the UI transitions between scenes. Changed the default coloring of attributes to make them more distinguishable. So one of the niggles I've had with the game is that they went for a little bit. On some screens, it felt like they were going a little bit of form over function. And it was like, okay, it looks slick, but just give me a bright colour so I can see the shit. That sort of thing. Added 1.5 match speed during highlights and 4 times match speed between highlights. Manually scouting a player will now correctly delegate an appropriate scout. New gen portraits will now appear during match broadcast graphics. Fixed issue preventing subs processing that were made at half-time via the tactics screen. Had that one. Fixed issue where a white match ball would be used. where white match ball will be used in snowy weather. I like a camouflage ball, makes the game more interesting. Set piece attributes are now visible when setting Yeah, if you clicked on your, like, oh, who are my penalty takers? And it's just like a list of players. It is sorted by who's the best, but you don't have a number, so that's nice. Tactics familiarity will now correctly progress over time within match day. Tactics fixed issue causing the World Golden Ball Award to be skewed towards South American players. That's a random bug, that is. Text scouting preferences will now be saved after text scaling preferences. Okay, good. Fixed issue preventing users from closing fixtures and results pop up post match. Have that one all the time. You have to do it in the right order. If you don't, it stays there, and then you have to hit continue to make it work, but then you might miss something that you wanted to rest players or something. Fixed issue causing player database to return incorrect results if users switched between interest levels. Had that one all the time. I got so excited when Haaland was interested in coming to me on loan at Barnet. It was a bug. So close. I could have afforded it. I worked it out. 0.3% of his wages I could have offered Man City to get him, but no, wasn't to me. Fixed issue forcing users to holiday past the end of season team meeting. Excellent. Staff responsibilities have been made more accessible and easier to locate. Good. That's the one thing I just searched for every time I needed it. Selecting any carousel option besides the first on the club staff now takes you to the correct view. Career stats will no longer display goalkeeper columns for outfield players. Fixed issue preventing users to progress through the UCL squad registration despite correct number of players, of homegrown players. Correct pronoun will be used for ask agent about availability. Mental attributes will now... I saw somebody on Twitter... Bearing in mind, this is like 300 odd changes, right? They posted it on Twitter, and one of the replies was, "Oh, I see where they've spent." He highlighted this one and was like, "Oh, I see where they spent all of their times." Yeah, because that one's a big fix. That took months. Mental attributes will now display correctly when set within the staff database tool. Fixed issue where there's no way to tell which clubs were promoted, relegated via season preview. Club badges are now shown on the Media Dream 11. Back navigation, directional arrow shortcuts now function across cards and tools. Lovely. That was always a bit of a pain. Again, that helps with the UI navigation, so hopefully that will get a few more people back that might... Okay, it feels a bit flows better. Overall start until dates within club finances, debt and loans will no longer display first of the first 1900. Fixed issue where squad numbers would be missing if making a single substitution. Didn't notice that, but it probably happened. I'm just blind. Injury icon now better displayed on contrasting red kits. User can now select none as an option for individual training. User can now remove previously set individual training focuses. Career managerial vacancies will now display both men's and women's teams. Fixed issue where players would reject the own asking price that they themselves had set. Nice. Fixed issue preventing user from continuing if loanee was injured on international duty. There's a few email items that I feel like you shouldn't be able to continue past, but sometimes, or if you just hit continue and it's processing and you see an email pop up and it's like, whoa, stop. You should stop for that one. There's a few of those. Manager creation, fixed wrinkles, slider not applying. Finally. Oh, Jesus. Manager attire choices will now save correctly. Oh, yeah, I noticed that one. Fixed issue where remove button was not displaying on squad planner. Fixed user being able to sell installments within clauses tool. Fixed user being able to sell installments. Can you not sell installments? Is that not a thing? I saw a lot of people using it. Club header in welcome pack will now display the correct information. User can now only mortgage transfer installments from the point they took over, not from the real-world transfers that occurred in pre-game start date. Refined 2025 squad registration rules for the NWSL. Exit talks button now functions correctly with contract negotiations. Reworked match momentum graph to better show teams with dark colouring. I've noticed that quite a lot. The kit colours on the top where the names are, the 2D match engine kits, and the momentum. Sometimes they're just the most random colours. I had a crash during a game, like halfway through a game, the computer crashed, I loaded it up, went back into the game, we were all using different kits, which was nice, which is fun. But hopefully that helps a little bit. Opposition team will now be highlighted in Europe Conference League pre-match league tables. Good. Winners will now display within competition cards. User is now always taken back to Portal after using instant results for a friendly match. Red card icon will now correctly display for some respective teams within the scorebar of Men's Champions League matches. Fixed spacing of the aggregate score within the scorebar of Men's Champions League matches. Spacebar can now be used to interrupt holiday or processing. Fixed issue where find similar player to within player database would filter out. I've not used that much, so that's good. Fixture tile on Portal will now correctly update post match. Oh yeah, because unless you continued on, it will show the previous thing, wouldn't it? Sometimes. The scouting finished message headline will now display the name of the player. The intermediary suggestions headline will now display the name of the player. Fixed issue causing the attribute graph within progress report to not display graph lines. Yeah, I've noticed that one. Worst graphs ever. Added a leave button to continue panel so spectators of an online match could leave during half time. Fixed inconsistencies of team being selected by default via quick start. Fixed non-EU rule in Serie A that was preventing certain players, don't get me started on the non-EU rule in Serie A, that confused me for years, being registered in game despite being registered in real life. Unmanageable divisions will no longer display with advanced game setup. Improved in-game tooltips resolving issues with text wrapping and display location logic. Tooltip has been readed what to first team from first team form to display numeric rating. Wait, is that little green boxes re-added? I don't know why I was having an absolute brain spasm there. Tooltip has been re-added to first team for, I don't think that is the green boxes, is it, on the main squad screen? Change the colour styling on first team position selections to ensure the position selection reflects the team selection correctly. Fixed issue preventing medical centre season summary table from loading despite having an injured player. Like, if that had come out on the release, I think there was going to be a ton of negative reviews because of, like I said, all the stuff I mentioned before. But if that had come out with the release of the game, with the removal of the link to Bug Tracker and the little text at the bottom, they would have saved themselves so much heartache. And of course, it's not because they didn't decide to. Obviously, they just didn't have it ready. And also, on other platforms. But that is a really good patch. It doesn't fix everything. I don't think there's... Whether this... I'm playing a network save with a friend, so I'll see if the person connecting to the network save has some issues. So we'll see if that's fixed. Another one I really, really, really want is to be able to save your squad selection. When I go into like some random team, I want to be able to, before I even get to pre-season, I build a tactic, put everybody in the squad so I can work out what positions I need. But then obviously I'm playing a bunch of friendlies, I just want to remove everybody. But because I don't recognise any of the names yet, because I've only just joined, I'll take a literal screenshot, have it on my second so I can then copy it back in. That needs to be a thing. Also, I need the little form boxes on the squad screen. If I hover over them, I'd like to see the rating that the guy got rather than what game it was. That's weird. Also, if I highlight somebody that's injured to see what their injury was, I don't need a book telling me, well, this happened on a rainy day on a Tuesday the 13th of October. During the 17th minute, he was tackled by so-and-so and therefore has a twisted ankle and he could be out for 2 to 3... Just twisted ankle, 2 to 3 weeks. Bosh, don't need to know when it happened or who it was against. Just tell me it's like a weird long string of text. There's still many bugs in the game. There are still many UI features that could be improved, especially, again, with the flow of sometimes it takes too many clicks. But they are all things that they can definitely I think, I said in a previous video, I really believe that they're going to No Man's Sky this game. I think, bearing in mind that, comparably, this is a much more finished game than No Man's Sky was, right? Don't get me wrong. But I think we're going to get updates upon updates upon updates continuously. I think there's a good chance that they might because I think they're going to see this as the year of redemption, where they pissed a lot of people off because they cancelled FM25 after a delay and all that sort of stuff. And then FM26 being buggier than should have been expected. I hope that they are just going to go for it. And what I'm hoping for, let's just take one of the missing features, for example, cup draws. I think they're massively important. It's one of my favourite things, especially when you're a little team. If you're a non-league team and you've got to the FA Cup third round, I want to see that draw. I hope they add those in, just in updates over the next course of the next month. Don't wait until the next game. If you want to really, truly win back people, I think you need to, like the international management that you're doing in before the World Cup, I think you need to add those features back in as just updates to the game and then go from there. I think that would complete the redemption arc ready for FM27. As I've said multiple times, I do worry that they're going to add features back in that just disappeared and call them new features, which would be really shitty. Unless of course, you're going to redo it and improve something. You know, if the cup draws had a big special, loads of stuff added to it, and it was all, you know, and you had a, drunk Scottishman do it, pulling out balls from a pot and stuff. I'm all for that. Go for it. That's a new feature. I'll have that. But if you're just going to re-add it, don't call it a new feature. But overall, I'm hoping now that we can, as a community, as a game, people that love Football Manager, we can just chill out a bit now. Unless something major happens, I'm just going to chill out and enjoy the game because I am genuinely really enjoying the game, despite its many foibles and mistakes and little bugs and stuff. Nothing has been too game-breaking for me. I've got lucky in that. I've never really had any problems with many crashes. But I hope we can all just calm down, and those people that like it, can we just enjoy it? And those people that sadly can't get on with the UI or just really hate the UI design can, I was going to say get another management game, but that's the part of the problem is that there really isn't any competition, is there? But as always, not to harp on about social media. If you are enjoying the game, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Don't let anybody tell you it's a buggy mess and, Football Manager's gone woke because they've added women. If you're enjoying it, enjoy it. If you're not enjoying it, I'm very sorry that you're not enjoying it. Hopefully some of these improvements will bring you back and give it another shot, or maybe a patch in a few months' time. Maybe, the game might go on sale at Christmas in the Steam sale, so maybe that's another time to look at. If there's any big changes to the game, obviously I'll do a video about it. But I'm as much fun as I do like a good rant. There's a reason why I've got a whole series of ramble videos where I just rant about stuff. So as much as I have problems with the current game, as I've said from day one, I think this is potentially the best game. It just needs a few more months of cooking, but I think this could be the greatest game. And to be fair, it might be FM27. That's the one that really just pulls everything together. But I'm hopeful Sports Interactive decide to make up for some of the mistakes they've made and add in back some of those things in patches rather than wait until the next game. That would be amazing. Right, let me know what you think below. Is there what are the major things that you want changed about the game? Like, for instance, great list of stuff. Let me save my squad. Let me hover over that bit. There's other little bits that I go through that I just find. Let me know. Or use the bug tracker. I will be downloading this, actually. I've decided that I will be downloading this or going on to the earlier beta. I wasn't going to do the beta, but I want to play a network save, and hopefully that might fix some of the crashes on there. But let me know what you still need doing. What's the one thing that you'd like them to fix? Don't just go the UI. What one thing is still not right for you? Let me know. Right, thank you very much for always. If you like my videos, please do like and subscribe. Support me on Patreon, or even if you're loaded or a millionaire, or even like a £10 you might want to consider checking out my fundraiser where I'm raising money to build an outbuilding in our garden, so we can continue doing more and more animal rescue that we currently do. We do lots of that. If you check out the Patreon, you'll get updates on all our animal rescue efforts. We've just got 3 new kittens today. I've named one after Federico Chiesa because, I'm a SATA. But yeah, check it out. support if you can. That would be amazing. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.